Okay, so hello again. It's been a while since I've made a video. So this video, what I'm going to do is showcase both expansions that I have. So let's open up the box here. So you can see the box is not that big. It's a tiny one, so close this like that. It's very nice. Okay, so here's my copy. So pardon the rules there. Translated cards in English and rules in English as well. Styrofoam thing. This doesn't come with the game. It's just I put that in there. Okay, put these to the side. And here are my base game cards. Sorry about the mess. There's the money, a few more things. I replaced the dice with some chunky dice. I love chunky dice. Anyway, here are the two expansions. So this is Plus, which is going to be the Harbor expansion, and this is Sharp, which they haven't named yet, but here's Sharp. So these two expansions are going to be, ooh, they connect. And these two expansions are going to be the only two expansions for Machi Koro, so we're going to take a look at them. I'm going to do a couple of videos. This one will be for Harbor, and the next one will be for Sharp. So first I'm going to put Sharp away. I'm going to put that over there. And let's take a look at the cards from Harbor, shall we? Okay, so here are the first few cards from Harbor. So in the Harbor expansion, they added 3 more landmarks. So if you know the base game already, the way to win is you have these 4 unconstructed landmarks. They look like this with an unconstructed side, and you have to build all 4 of them to win the game. In this version, so in Harbor, they added 3 more. And 3 more landmarks, so now you have to build all 7 to actually win the game if you add this expansion. And it's not that bad. They have the harbor, the airport, and the city hall. The city hall, as you can see, is a little different. It doesn't have a price to build, nor does it have an unconstructed side. That means the city hall is actually pre-built. You can't deconstruct it. You can't, well, we'll talk about deconstruction in a later video, I think. So you can't deconstruct any of that, and it comes pre-built. And this by itself solves a large part of the base game problem. There's a problem in the base game where in the early turns you would just roll your dice and get nothing. You're just like, oh, I rolled a 4 and I don't have any 4s, so, and I have no money, so I guess it's your turn. And then you gotta wait a bit. I mean, the game goes pretty quickly. It's pretty light game, but it sucks being broke. So, you know, this fixes that, because the ability of the city hall is that on your turn, if you have no coins, after you've rolled your dice and you still have no money, the bank will give you one. The bank will give you 1 coin right there, 1 coin. And then you can make your purchases. Then you can maybe buy something cheap. But it prevents you from being broke and prevents you from doing nothing on your turn, which is actually very nice. So that's the city hall. I'll put that over here. Next one is the harbor. This is the main attraction of this expansion, the harbor. In this game, there are some cards that look specifically for this harbor landmark. So basically their ability says if you have the harbor, this happens. So the harbor is a great card. This one does have an unconstructed side. It's very cheap at 2. It's cheaper than that double dice one from the base game. So the ability of this one is that when you roll dice, if the value is 10 or just 10 or higher, you may add 2 to the value. So now the maximum you can roll is not 10 and 12 or 12, it's 14. So if you roll a 12, you're free to add 2 to the value and turn it into a 14. Why would you turn into a 14, you say? Well, maybe there's cards that do that. So now you can add 2 to the value. And it also fixes a problem where you were having trouble in the base game getting the 11 and 12 because they're just uncommon. A very rare roll actually on 2 dice, the 11 and 12. So this one you only need to roll a 10 and it's yours. You get a 12 for that. So that's the harbor. Okay. And the next card here is the 30. This is the airport. See, airport. And it costs 30. This is the most expensive building in the game. But the ability is fantastic. It's so good that you might actually want to consider building this first. Anyway, the ability of the airport is that on your turn, if you decide not to build anything, so you roll your dice, maybe you get some money, but you didn't build anything, the bank will give you 10 coins. Yep, that's right. 10 coins. 10. Right there. It says 10. Not 1. It says 10. 10 coins for not doing anything on your turn. So that's lovely. Okay, so those are the 3 landmarks now you have to build to win the game. In addition to the 4 from the base game. You have 7. Anyway, That's Harbor expansion. The other thing it actually adds in the Harbor expansion is something very fundamental in the rules. In the rules of Harbor, they have a variant here, extra rules down here. They talk about how to add this to the base game, because in the base game you would just lay out the cards and you just, okay, I'll buy this one and that. This Harbor expansion adds a very essential variant that actually fixes the runaway leader problem. And what it does is that what you do is, after you've given everyone their base cards and their landmarks, shuffle all the cards, in the base game cards and the new cards from the expansion. You can do this with both either the Harbor expansion and or the Sharp expansion, so you can have a really nice big deck to pull from. And what you do is that after you shuffled all of them, you shuffle it thoroughly, and then you deal 10 buildings. So you deal 10 cards, and you're trying to get 10 unique buildings. Yeah? So what you do is you shuffle all the cards, and then you get one building, and then maybe you get a second building, and that's a unique building, so that's 2. And you're trying to do that until you get 10 unique ones. Maybe you get another one. But the next card, if you draw, and it's not unique, just put it on top of that one, and continue drawing until you get up to 10 unique buildings. And that will be the market. Anytime someone buys one, so let's say I bought this one, you replace it with another one. If it's not unique, follow the same rule there, and then if it is unique, fill it in, and that's it. That's the variant. It's such a very simple change, but it makes the game so much better, and it prevents that, oh, he bought all the farms, I lose now, or something like that. It prevents that problem from the base game. So Harbor does a really great addition. I don't recommend doing that variant with just the base game. It turns the game into much longer than it needs to be. But with the Harbor expansion, it's much better because, one, you're not broke just because of the City Hall. 2, oh, you're never broke, just in case of the City Hall. And 2, it's much easier to get money in this expansion, which I'll show you in a bit. So let's take a look at the cards that actually do come in the game, shall we? Okay, so these are the 10 new cards that they add to the game. These are, stacks, not just 10 cards. That would be weird. And so these are the 10 new cards that add in the game. So you can see that there's 3 red cards that steal money from your opponents, 2 new purple landmarks, 3 more blue cards that you can trigger on anybody's turn, and a couple more on your green cards for your own turn. And also, if you've pre-ordered Machi Koro Harbor from your friendly local game store in the US, they may have participated in the initial pre-order rush where they would give you a free building, a free promo building. So the promo building is actually going to be this. It's a little bit of speculation for now that it's actually this. I don't think they've shown off the ability yet, but looking at the card and looking at the art and looking at the value, it's going to be this building. It's a 10. This is the same art that they use for the promo, and they called it the Mega Game Store. This actually says this is Kokusai Tenjijo. This is the, what is this, exhibition hall, international exhibition hall, where they hold the game market nearby. So the ability of this one, this is the promo that you get, it costs 7, is that when you roll this 10 on your turn, of course it's purple, you may use the ability of another purple card that you own. So for example, if I own the 7 and I've been trying to roll a 7 for ages, but instead I rolled a 10, I can use this. I was like, let's say, oh, I'm just going to trigger this instead. And that's fine. If you do that, you return the 10 back to the marketplace. If you're doing the variants where you're doing 10 unique buildings, this would be your 11th unique building just in case. Okay? Now, note that this ability is not mandatory. You don't have to actually do it, but you could. Okay, so let's take a look at the 10 cards. So the first things first, let's do number 1. This is the Sushi Bar. So Sushi Bar, sushi shop, sushi shop. Anyway, so it's a red card, so it triggers on your opponent's turns. Costs 2, very cheap. And it says if you have the harbor, so if you have the harbor built, not just I have a harbor. If you have the harbor built, whoever rolls the 1 gives you 3 coins. So this is a nice little counter for that popularized strategy for Machi Koro, that single dice strategy. This will take care of that. Anytime they roll a 1, they pay you 3. That's fantastic. Alright. Of course, you can buy a bunch of them. And they have the cafe symbol. Okay, so next one is a 4. This is a blue 4, so it triggers on everybody's turns. And did you ever get that feeling in the base game if you've played it where you see an opponent roll a 4 and you're looking at your convenience stores and you're like, damn it. But here's a 4 that's blue. So it's a flower field, and this says if anyone rolls a 4 on anybody, if someone rolls a 4 on their turn, you get 1 coin. Nice, right? Blue, cost 2, very cheap. Next one is a 6. This is the flower shop. It has a shop's designation. The 4 had that wheat symbol, so you can add that to your 11, 12 from the base game. So here's a 6 flower shop. It costs 1, very cheap. Now this says on your turn, if you roll the 6, you get 1 coin for every flower field you have. Specifically the flower field, not the flowers, the wheat symbol, for the flower field itself. So the maximum you can get is 6 per card, given that if you got all the flower symbols. Now, the next one is the 7, the most common die roll for 2 die. So this is a cafe symbol again, pizza shop. The translation on the PDF that G Rounding put up marks this as a Pizza Hut. Come on, branding, it's a pizza shop. Okay, so it costs 1, pizza shop. So whoever rolls a 7 on their turn, not you of course, because this is red, triggers on your opponent's turns. If someone rolled a 7, they pay you 1 coin. That's cheap, but it's a very common die roll. So next one is the 7. This is a purple landmark, so as always, 1 per player. As you can see, I have 4 here, so that's 1 per player. However, the English edition of Harbor, the expansion, will come with enough cards to support a 5th player, so you might actually have 5 of these. Okay, so number 7. What is this thing? I wrote this down. Sorry, I would translate it just live, but it's much easier since I have it written down here. Publisher. This is the publisher. So this one is triggers on your turns, and this is purple, and it triggers last. Costs 5. And this says if you roll a 7 on your turn, each player will give you 1 coin for every cafe and shop symbol card that they have. So for example, if they have, let's say, 4 of these, they just paid you 4 coins because if they own all 4 of these. And of course, you know, shops and cafes. So that's something. They pay you 1 coin for every single one. All of them, every player. So that's a big money grab, or big money income generator. Anyway, besides the point. Next one. This is number 8. So red triggers on your opponent's turns. Lovely cafe symbol. Burger shop, baga shop. Fantastic. Costs 1. Again, it's a common die roll. 6, 7, and 8 are common die rolls for 2 dice. So it's an 8, costs 1. If they roll an 8, you get 1 coin. Simple. This is a blue 8. Okay, so it triggers on everybody's turns. This is the Salmon Ship. Salmon fishing boat. No? Tuna fishing boat? Mackerel fishing boat? Oh, Samma. Mackerel. Mackerel fishing boat. Why am I not reading these? Anyway, so it has a boat symbol, which is odd because there's actually no cards that call for a boat symbol. It's just, hey, maybe. So boat symbol, and this is the salmon mackerel fishing boat. Cost 2. If you have a harbor, whoever rolled an 8, when someone rolls an 8, you get 3 coins from the bank. Very simple. Nice card, actually. All right, and the next one, another purple landmark, so it triggers on your turn only. This is I think this is the Taxation Office. Taxation Office, and this is a very, very powerful card if you can consistently roll an 8, which I'm pretty sure you could. Costs 4, and this building alone equalizes the I'm gonna hoard money mechanic. So this one, if you roll an 8 on your turn, each player who has 10 or more coins must give you half of them rounded down. Yeah, that's right, half. So in a 3-player game, let's say I have this, player 2 has 20 coins, player 3 has 15. This happens, I get 10 from player 2, player 3 gives me 7, I just made 17 coins for rolling an 8. Fantastic. But now I'm a target for my own building. Maybe for their taxation office. Anyway, I digress. Next one is a 12-13. A 13 is possible because of the harbor, which you can add 2 if you've ever rolled an 11 or a 10 or a 12. You can get 13. Not up to 2. You must add 2. But still. Okay. So this one is green, so it only triggers on your turn. This is the food warehouse. Food warehouse. Yep, food warehouse. So this one on your turn, if you rolled the 12-13, you get 2 coins from the bank for every cafe card that you own. 2 coins. So let's say you owned all these 7s, there's 6 of them, you would get 12 coins for this card. Nice. So it gives you a nice incentive to actually try for this and actually buy a lot of cafes to steal from your opponents. And it has a factory symbol. Okay, next one is the 12-14. Again, boat symbol. This one is the tuna fishing boat. Man, tuna fishing boat. And this one, 12-14, blue, triggers on everybody's turns, costs 5. This one's a bit special because what this does, the ability is that if someone rolls a 12-14, this means including you, yes. Someone rolls a 12-14, they take both dice. So they take both dice. Let me grab the 2 dice from the base game here. Just, you know, just a nice example. A couple of these. Okay. So they take both die, and they roll it one more time. Oh, I am not good at rolling dice. Let's say I rolled something higher. There we go. I rolled a 10 because of this ability. So I rolled a 12, and then I had to re-roll the 2 dice again. And then, if you have the harbor, this happens. You get this much coins. And if you own multiple, you can have them re-roll it for each card, or just take the value for all the cards. So let's say I own 3, and I re-rolled it. So they rolled a 12, and I asked them to roll it again because of this ability, and they rolled a 10. 10, yeah, whatever. A 10, I would get 10 coins for this card. I can choose to just get 10 coins for every other card that I own, or have them re-roll it for each one. That's fine too. I would just choose the 10 for every card. That just makes better decisions. Anyway, I digress from that. That is the Harbor expansion. It adds a little bit more cutthroat, stealing money, and it keeps you from being broke. But that doesn't mean your opponent can't steal money from you. So that's Harbor.